So I got 12:34 Eastern Time.
Oh, well, 1 o'clock. We walking out of here.
Chuck. Walking out.
Where we welcome you inside the NBA. It's presented
we out
by
of here at 1 o'clock.
McDonald's.
We out of here at 1 o'clock.
Chuck, you know what I want right now?
What's that?
Some pineapples.
Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet
I love
Smith,
McDonald's.
Pineapples under the
and
bridge.
Charles Barkley. We expect to be joined here on this show by Stephon Castle as San Antonio advances to the Western Conference semifinals. Meantime, we bring you the highlights of Game 5.
They came out energetic, aggressive. This game was over quickly.
Denny Avdia and the Blazers trying to control.
Oh, this man here, boy, he be hunned. He be hunned, but he got hunted.
Volleyball spiked that thing in.
Going about 15 rows deep. San Antonio Spurs. 114-95 winners. They take the series 4-1. Wemby goes 17-14 with 6 blocks. De'Aaron Fox has 21. And San Antonio, with a chance to advance, makes no mistake. And they win it by a 114-95 count. Meantime, as promised, Stephon Castle joining us from San Antonio. And Stephon, thank you very much for taking some time here. Look, you guys in the course of this series, it was like commonplace to see you down by double digits and coming back. I have a feeling the message or what you felt inside tonight was no more of that. Let's go out here and get this done. What was the discussion pregame?
Yeah, just to come out and attack, set the tone early. We know it's a do or die game for them, so just trying to throw the first punch and try and make them lay down.
You know, you guys probably hear a lot. You're a young team. You have no experience. What's the conversation amongst the guys when you're going out playing in these games?
Yeah, I mean, we don't care about that. I mean, we've seen these teams throughout the regular season multiple times. I mean, we know what other teams like to do against us, so I mean, we have nothing but confidence in each other, so we take it game by game.
You know, we were talking about your 3-man rotations on the perimeter, on the guard. Then you put Champagne in there. I bet you guys have some serious damn practices every day.
Yeah, it was really the summer where it was the most tough, but throughout the season it's been a little bit more chill. But I mean, yeah, this off season too, we gonna get at it for sure.
Well, that off season is gonna be for a while, but I'll tell you. You know what? This is you guys' first time winning a series. You're with Wemby, yourself, winning a series in the NBA playoffs. What's the difference between a closeout game and playing in an NCAA championship game for you?
Biggest difference, we weren't on the brink of going home tonight, so that's probably the biggest difference for me. But just coming out with the same energy. I mean, it's the same kind of feel. Obviously, a different scenery, different stage, but yeah, I mean, I feel like the main thing is just throwing that first punch.
Stephon, last thing. Look, it's only your second year. I realize that you haven't been around San Antonio that long, but you get a feel for how that city appreciates and wants to be relevant again after the championships they won. What do you think it means tonight to be moving on and from what you hear in that arena, what it means to these fans?
Yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot to the city, a lot to the fans, a lot to us as well. But, yeah, I mean, just how our city supports us and, the way that they have our back and the way that they show up every night. I feel like they deserve this as much as we do. So we're going to keep pushing for them.
Okay, I lied. That wasn't the last thing from me. The last thing from me is this. Denver, Minnesota, both had winning records against you. What's your early take on who you might be facing in the next round?
I mean, whichever one of those teams come out, I know our coaches will have us prepared. I know Minnesota's up right now, but I mean, it's the NBA. Series not over, so we'll see.
That's a very good job of avoiding a pretty much a benign question by me. I apologize for saying there was one more. Nice going tonight, man. Well done as San Antonio moves on.
Tell your mom and dad hello.
I will.
Thank you very much to Stephon Castle for
his dad played for me. Yes, he did.
All right.
Stacey Castle.
You know, what's interesting about that is pretty much useless right there.
You always say that, but it's interesting sometimes. Like when I told you.
Did Wemby play in those games?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay.
No Wemby or Castle in the Spurs. in the Spurs only win, there was no Wemby or Castle.
Well, maybe he shouldn't play then. That's what I say.
No Wemby in the second game.
He shouldn't
Wemby
play.
had 34 and 18 in a loss to the Nuggets in overtime, and then nobody played in that season finale.
Yeah, that's why I tell you, that stuff y'all be, these analytical dudes be killing me with this junk.
That's not
I keep telling you guys,
that's not analytics. That's the season series.
I'm just telling
That's
y'all.
just records. That's
Okay,
Yeah.
but I was saying that still regular season still doesn't matter, but I was like, Wemby was out half the season basically. No Castle?
Yeah.
And the only game he played, they still lost?
Yeah. And they won that game without Wemby and Castle.
Well, maybe they should trade both of them.
Yeah, it's an excellent thought.
Thank you.
An excellent thought,
He
Chuck.
said they were going to play a
We're
lot
better
better
without Wemby and
Very
Castle.
analytical thinking on your part. What's your takeaway from what you saw this Spurs tonight?
I mean, I said this to you and the guy. I think Wemby is the first perfect big man that's ever created. Can shoot, free throws, play defense, play offense. He's a great team player. I'm happy for the Spurs. I'm happy for Wemby, and for me, in a long time, he's a joy to watch. You know, I don't usually, talk about
like any big man.
Like, give any big man credit. I'm sorry, we were just thinking out loud.
I don't usually, enjoy the big man how they play now, but he plays it so perfectly. I actually accept the way he plays. So if he wants to shoot jumpers, I'm fine with him. But to me, he's like the perfect big man. And as the president of the big man lines, I don't need to give any big man credit.
Well, because you don't.
Because I don't have to.
Okay.
The season ends for the Portland Trail Blazers in 5 games at San Antonio. But this was for a year that began the way it did with the Chauncey Billups situation and everything else.
Every team who plays in NBA, like there's only a couple. Well, there's probably 5 or 6 teams that if they don't win a championship, they didn't have a great season. The Portland Trail Blazers had a great season. Give Coach Splitter a lot of credit, taking over in difficult situations. There's a lot of rumors going around about the Portland Trail Blazers that they don't want to give him a contract because
that he'll be considered.
Yeah, he'll be considered.
Has he earned it?
Hell yeah!
I think so too.
He has flat out earned it. And let me tell you something. If he doesn't get the contract, I'd be leery if I'm another coach going there. Because for him to take over under those circumstances, and I said, this team got a lot of good young players. They got Dame coming back next year. He has earned that job. And if they try to bring somebody in cheaper or lowball him, some of these, I don't think there's any other openings right now.
Yeah, even as we speak about Tiago Splitter, he was asked about his future moments ago.
It's been the whole season like that, to be honest. It's not like now it's any different. So it's just, I'm happy where we got. I'm happy with the effort, but the future, who knows? I gotta sit down now with my family, of course with the Blazers, and see what's going on.
Hey, whatever happens, job well done, guys, being an NBA head coach for the first time.
Well, what I always laugh at is like your expectation. If you had looked at this team, even before all of the controversy, you was like, this team, if they make a 7th seed, that's a productive year. They made a 7th seed with all of the things going on around them, and there are 2 or 3 players that have elevated their game. The 2 players that they really wanted to.
Denny
Advia and Scoot Henderson. Those are the 2 guys who needed to elevate their game and develop. They did this year. Now you throw a Dame Lillard inside of that mix with them, and you throw Robert Williams III, the way he came on at the end. You have Klingen. You have now you can jump from 7 to 5. That's all you. No one in the NBA very rarely jumps from 8 to 1. But they jump. You make incremental jumps, and they made an incremental jump.
But you should always reward people when they do a good job.
Yes.
And Tiago, I didn't even know he was a coach until the situation went down And he did a fabulous job. I hope the Trailblazers reward that man for the job he did.
114-95, San Antonio knocks out Portland, and they advance to meet either Minnesota or Denver. More highlights on the way.
No, they wouldn't have beat the Spurs.
How about the Philadelphia 76ers staying alive and Joel Embiid?
Thank you, Joel, for playing like a real big man.
Jason Tatum and the Celtics, 3-1 series lead, trying to put away Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. Measure VJ Edgecombe, the rookie, with the dagger. 113-97. Boston scores 11 points in the fourth quarter on 3 of 22 shooting and blow a chance to advance in 5 games. So, Jaylen Brown, what happened?
Just overall, just not good enough tonight. Can't sum it up where. Just, a lot of different areas. We had a chance to win and pull away. We was up 13 and we didn't take advantage of it. So we're all to blame, but we just got to watch it and respond and get better and move forward.
Joel was dominant. He went to the post and he scored and scored and he scored. And then, he kicked something out and we made some shots. And it just takes a game like when we are fully healthy. And once we get that game out the way, we start playing better.
I know a lot of people might have takes of, that I might be lazy or whatever, but, every single time I'm on the floor, I just want to play basketball, whether I'm, good physical, mentally shape or whatever. I just want to enjoy this moment.
First time in Joel Embiid's career, this is 61 postseason games, that he was the game's leading scorer and led the game in assists. He had 8 and he had 33.
I'd have to disagree with him on one thing. I've never heard anyone call him lazy. I think that what I've heard, well, at least I'm just going to say what I've heard here, is take advantage of your advantage. And so don't let people off the hook, meaning when you have that physical advantage inside, establish that early. And then it creates the double teams and allows all those guys to shoot. And then you could sprinkle in a 3. But at times he starts with the 3. Lazy has never been a word that I've never heard here, at least, associated with
nobody
Joel
ever called him lazy. But it frustrates. He used to get mad at me and Shaq because this guy, Hakeem, Joel and Hakeem.
Similarities.
No. As far as in the post with the footwork.
Yeah, similarities.
They the 2 best I've ever seen. If they get the ball in the post.
Kevin McHale.
I don't want to, he's the best I ever played against. But you talking about getting there and can go all these different moves. Nobody can guard him in the post. And when he shoot threes, he drive me and Shaq crazy. And he should always go in the post. You have to double him. One guy can't stop him. Because 2 things going to happen. Well, 3 things going to happen. He's going to score, he's going to miss, or he's going to get fouled. And let me tell you something. 2 out of those are pretty damn good if you're a big guy. If you're going to score, get the other team in foul trouble, because you get your guy in foul trouble, but you get your team in the penalty, you're going to miss some shots. But the Celtics had to, once the house was on fire, they had to start doubling him, and they got those other guys going.
Before you jump in here, Shaq, let's take a look at this, the shot selection in Game 5. First half, 5 out of 8.
That's enough said.
7 out of 10 in the second half. Did not take a 3-pointer in the second half.
No need to.
Because what he needs to understand that when you take a 3, you're taking the easy route. There's no easy way to win the championship. Kenny already said it. Take advantage of your advantage. When you go 7 for 10, now they're going to double. Now you're going to get your other guys involved. Maxey and VJ is working a little too hard for me to get points. I would rather Joel and Embiid go inside first, start to dominate, and make it easy for him. Because if you got to, if you throw the ball and you got to rotate to Maxey and VJ, there's no way you can get to him. So if he plays like this, they'll win.
Am I crazy to say there's going to be a Game 7 in Boston?
Listen, the Celtics are the easiest team. Out of all the teams in the NBA, the Celtics are the easiest to scout. They're not going to change. You go back to last year against the Celtics, against the Knicks. They missed all those threes and blew a 20-point lead. Then the next game, they're like, we're not going to change. Then they missed all those threes and blew a 20-point lead. Then they went to New York and started making shots. The Celtics are not going to change. They're going to go to Philly, and you saw the games. The only two games the Sixers won, they missed all their shots.
And they were both in Boston.
They were both in Boston. So they're not going to change. They still got those two guys and Pritchard, but the Celtics they're not going to play, man. It just depends if they make shots. Plain and simple.
Celtics 42% from deep in the wins, 27% from deep in their losses. Last word on this.
Yeah, well, I said this in game, even the first game Joel came back. Regardless of what he does, he's aggressive. And so he took a high number of shots in both games. So he changes your game plan by being in there. You cannot just sit there and say, well, we're going to go figure out if he's going to be Joel Embiid. And so now you know he is. 33 points, umpteen assists, umpteen rebounds. You know, you have to double him. And that creates spacing for Maxey. So Maxey can get 28 when he's not there, but they're hard. He goes home and ices up. He can get 22 of the easiest points he's ever played with, and playing with Joel Embiid on the court. So can Edgecombe. They just look so much more efficient, Shaq, when he's on the court, even though they're not scoring at the same proficiency when he's not there.
If Joel Embiid is playing the right way, you got to dominate. You got to take those high percentage shots. That's how you win, and that's how you dominate.
113-97. Sixers hold the Celtics under 100 for the second time in Boston in this series. 2-2 series. Back to the Garden.
That's my man, C.J. McCollum. I'm glad y'all freed him in D.C. 5 days ago, they want to fire Mike Brown and trade everybody. Now they're going to the finals.
126-97 is the
no response to that, Kenneth?
Rebounds 48-27, points in the paint 60-42, and they're 19-0 when they hold teams under 100.
I still think that's a 7-game series. I'm not going.
I agree. Say it again, Chuck.
I think that's a 7-game series.
Hey, let's hear from the participants. Some yakety yak, if you will.
We got coming here and we got smashed tonight, but we still got a chance. It's 3-2. We're going home to protect our home court. We got to be better. We got to come out. We got to be more physical. We got to play harder. They came in and just manhandled us. So we're gonna have to really change some things around if we want to get Game 6.
It's like a chess match. If someone makes a move and you got to make another move, you got to wait to see what they're going to do. The way we prepare, we got to be ready for anything. And but most importantly, just understand to know we have to be good at what we're good at. I think that's the most important. But we got to prepare for anything.
Are you ready for that amazing stat that you won't believe that I teased going to break?
It's about which
ahead.
team?
I'm listening.
It's about the New York Knicks.
Okay.
Yeah.
First time in their playoff history, and they're one of the original teams. First time in their playoff history, they've won back-to-back games by 15 or more points.
That's an amazing stat.
First time in
And they won back-to-back
history.
championships. And then they had Patrick Ewing era. I mean, they're not. That's an incredible stat.
Yes, I'm glad you appreciated that one.
You know, Ernie. Going back to these last two games, I don't know what the Hawks were thinking. Like, the Knicks, the last two games, played like they're playing for their season, like with energy coming out the first quarter. And, like, I gave the Hawks a pass because they were up 2-1. They'd never been in that situation where they were in desperation like the Knicks were in Game 4. I'm not sure what they thought Game 5 was going to be going back to New York. Like, guys, you got to play with great energy. Even if you screw up, you can't be passive. I want you to be over-aggressive. But they're playing like a team that's never – and I know, like I say, CJ's been there before. But those young guys, man, you don't keep getting a pass. The playoffs are desperation. 1 or 2 games, the season's over. And – I have not seen that from the Hawks the last 2 games, and that's been very disappointing. They've had a great year.
My favorite Hawks player, didn't play bad tonight, 7 out of 15, Jalen Johnson, but he hasn't really had a great game. I need him to have 1 or 2 great games. CJ didn't play well tonight. I'm with you, Chuck. I think this will go 7. They're going to come back here. Atlanta's going to be fired up, and the Hawks will be alive.
What gives you the impression, after the way they've been manhandled in the last 2 games, that they are up to sending this back to New York?
I mean, Chuck, Chuck hit it right on the head. They're not playing with a lot of effort and a lot of energy. And listen, the old TNT slogan, you either win or go home. So they have to get this game. It's a must-win for them. It's simple. A lot of energy. And again, Jalen Johnson has to have an unbelievable great game. 7 for 15, 18 points is not enough.
Jed, is it going 7?
If it going the way it is, no. I would say no.
Absolutely.
I don't think that you turn on switches. And
why not?
I just don't believe you turn them on. They're either on or they're off in the playoffs. And I don't know if you can turn on a switch.
It's called adjustments.
But the one thing that you can turn on when you say effort, what I don't see is the same defensive effort that they had in the first. Like we have a saying, lose yourself on the defensive end and you'll find yourself on offense. And I think that's what Jalen Johnson should do. He should lose himself on the.
I like that. He doesn't.
Because he didn't have to lose himself. He was always found on the offensive end. We always knew where he was offensively. So, but he doesn't. He needs to really lose himself defensively. And he and Daniels, that is their calling cards, and they haven't really made that a calling card as well in this series.
Ernie, when you're a young team, the playoffs is a shock to your system. Because, like, when you play in the NBA, when you're playing game 25, it's in December. Like, oh, we got 26, 27, 28. When you're in the playoffs, the next game could be their last game. And the Knicks, the way they came out in game 4, they're like, no, we can't go down 3-1. We got to come out like gangbusters. And they came out like gangbusters, but they did it again. Like, I gave them a pass for game 4, but to come out the next game like it's 2-2, and then to come out and just end up being on your heels, getting punched in the mouth the entire game, because they never had a chance after the first quarter today.
126-97 is your final score. It is a 3-2 lead for the Knicks as they go to Atlanta Thursday night for Game 6. We'll be back to wrap it up on Inside in just a second.
Underdog.
We do have some fishing